what isn't there to be grateful and thankful to God for? It's an amazing Monday. Welcome to another awesome week right here on Entertainment Review. It's always, a delight, and I'm always super ecstatic to be gracing your screens. My name is Esiodua Akumia. As usual, I'm not doing this alone. I have two beautiful ladies here with me. You know that on Mondays is always a girls' affair. Yes. Harriet, why are you giggling?
Nothing. They have finally returned.
Oh, I know.
Leave no be pension.
You understand?
Going on leave doesn't mean you are going on pension.
I thought I'll never come back.
So I'll clap.
Yes, Harriet, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I like your earrings.
Thank you.
When we're
very
done
much.
with this show, I'm taking it. Whether you like it or yes.
Okay. So, guys, welcome to another awesome edition of Entertainment Review. Like I said earlier, I'm not doing this alone. I am here with, to my left, Nanaya Tanwabwachi. Hi.
Hi.
Again.
Yeah.
How are you?
Definitely feels good to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all don't like Mondays. I know you love Monday, but
Yeah, because
It's
it's my
all
day
good.
was, so.
Except for me.
okay.
Mondays
Saturday
is very stressful. I mean,
Please.
Okay, so this morning it's a gospel motivational way.
Right.
I think for the last 2 weeks we've been doing gospel. So today I just move straight to introducing our guest for today. Our guest is Anthea, and she is a singer, songwriter, and also a worship leader. And we have Ghanaian urban gospel musician, Perez Music, in the build. I love to interview urban gospel musician. I don't know why, but I love to interview them, and I'll tell you why. And also, we have the leader of the Bethel Revival choir in the building. And for Perez Music, he'll be telling us more about an upcoming concert. We'll be looking at their music, what they've been up to, and also Bethel Revival choir also has a concert coming up, and also and their Coca too, we're looking at music journey and also being in Ghana, the experience. And at the latter part of the show, we'll be doing a discussion that I love to talk about. Is gospel music a calling or a business? I have my stance, but then I'll be asking my guests what their view, what is their opinion, and what people also think. So we'll move straight into the conversation, but then I'll move straight to the lady first. How are you doing? Good afternoon and welcome to Entertainment Review.
Good afternoon.
Let me just move to you. I've watched your interviews. You have an inspiring story, but then I want to find out. Let's move to the genesis of how all this began. Did you see yourself on this path in the first place?
As in what, doing gospel music?
Gospel music, yeah.
I grew up around gospel music. So from the age of 15, that's when my mother introduced us to the church environment. So that was my first experience with church. And I became a member of the choir. So I led the choir from there. And so gospel music is something that I've always done. I wouldn't say it's not new to me. It's something that I have always done. So yeah, my journey started from when I was about 15 years.
And how has the experience been like? And what are some of the challenges that you faced and how did you overcome it?
As a gospel musician?
Yes. It's not easy.
Well, I would say from the age of 15, I mean, I was still young, trying to discover myself and discover who I really was. So in terms of singing, I started in church because that's where I discovered that I had a voice to sing in the first place. But along the way, I did drift off, which is what we will call backslidden? Backslided, right? Okay. So yeah, I backslided and I went into the world and did secular music. So with the secular music, that opened me up to a lot of opportunities on bigger platforms. So with that, I joined a group in the West End, in Piccadilly Circus. There's a place called the 10 Room. And the 10 Room was like an open mic. And that's where most of the big stars came to do their thing. So they would come and sing and stuff like that. And I happened to be one of the backing vocalists. And so I got the opportunity to back people like Lionel Richie, to back people like Shaka Khan, and Beverly Knight, even Ja Rule, and things like that. So it was a big opportunity. It was a big opportunity. I wouldn't say I sang with them. I did backing vocals for them because I was part of an in-house backing vocalist. And so the owner of the place eventually became my manager, and we went ahead to release the pre-album, which was secular music. And so I stayed there for a while. Eventually found my way back to church.
The church.
Many hurdles.
Wow.
what was a turning point for you What happened for you to turn back to the church?
You know, I would say the seed. When the seed is in you, it doesn't matter how far you go or where you go, you will some way, somehow find your way back. So even though I was doing circular stuff and I was out there, I was still doing praise and worship. So Sundays, I would still go to church. I would still do praise and worship. And but I wasn't as heavily involved as I was with, the circular stuff. So I think maturity also played a role. As time went by, I realized that your calling is your calling. It's a purpose. It's something that you're going to have to surrender to 100%. And so,
I was actually waiting for the prodigal son.
yeah,
kind
the
of
prodigal
story.
son happened because, I did come back fully eventually after many, many different types of hurdles and obstacles, which if I was to share here, it would probably take the whole day.
Okay.
But it wasn't easy. Being in that kind of environment opens you up, to so many things as a young lady. So it was a lot of experience for me, both negative and positive. Yeah.
Perez is just sitting down so cool.
Yeah. Let me move to Perez. I said I love to interview urban gospel because it's not really easy being an urban gospel musician and also being a gospel musician. Sometimes I feel they are the same, but in Ghana, in the community where we find ourselves, they tend to not really buy into the idea of the urban because the urban is more of like the pop aspects, like it's more different from what the gospel people do. I just want to find out, when you started being an urban gospel musician, what are some of the problems or challenges you faced? Did people just accepted you as you were?
Okay, so I am not an urban gospel artist. I don't like the categorization in the first place.
Okay.
I don't like when people categorize.
But almost every article.
Gospel is gospel. I'm a musician. I'm an
Okay.
artist. I'm a gospel artist. I do music to touch the lives of people. I don't like to box myself in categorization.
Then the Ghanaians have
but-
boxed you.
No, I think for now they see me more as a contemporary artist than
Okay.
even as an urban gospel artist.
Okay.
Probably with the kind of music I started with, like Sister just said, I also transitioned from the secular.
Okay.
So that transition had an influence in my beginning, the type of music I was doing when I was starting. So probably that's why they boxed me up in that space. And I had a lot of friends in that. You would find me more in that space and at those events because that is what, that was where we were accepted at then, based on the kind of music I was doing back then. But I believe that by the grace of God, there has been some form of maturity and some form of growth. And the most important thing is to find the right channel to send the message. It's not about me. It's not about what I like and what I don't like. It's about how the people receive the message.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you do what will get to the people or what will influence the people. So that's what influenced my kind of music that I'm doing now. But talking about the beginning, it's not easy.
Yeah.
I always tell my peers that the best person to start investing in you is yourself. Nobody's going to take money in Ghana. Nobody invests in prospects. They like to see results.
Yes.
So if you don't take your own, calling or your own talent or your own gift into your own hands and invest in it, there's no way you are going to make it. And people say that I'm a fast kind of way. Where am I going to get the money from? I always say that God doesn't give anybody just one talent. For me, I discovered that there were major talents that I had and there were minor talents that I had. At a point, my minor talents were actually fueling my major talent.
Okay.
Yes. So, and at a point, I know that my major talents will also come and fuel my minor talent. So as a person, you have to sit down, do some self-analysis, and then realize that, what? I can balance myself.
Yeah.
You understand? I wanted to do music full-time, but I never had the opportunity to do music full-time. But I worked on the side. I made some money on the side, and I invested it back into my music. And now the music is slowly settling in. So I know that at a point, I can go back to my music full-time, go on my road tours, and do my road show. So it's all about balancing.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like I always say, there are no mentors around. People don't share. People don't share their ideas. They don't. You would have to go through the pain yourself.
Yeah.
Go through the mud before you find your gold. So if some of us can, those people up there and some of us, if we can also at least find some platform like this to also share some of these ideas with people, it will help a lot of people and ease a lot of stress. Yes.
That's good. That's
I mean, with the stories that have been shared so far, it's making me eager to, for us to talk about this whole, being called.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then,
We will get
and,
there.
he talking about the
Yeah.
business
Yes.
aspects
Aspect of
and,
it. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
We will
I
get
can't
there.
wait.
But
I'm
let's
itching.
come to Bethel Revival. I think you released an album, an amazing one. Honestly speaking, I tell my truth. I hardly listen to gospel music, but I try my best. They all know. Tell us about the album and the whole experience.
So the album is Enyo. We recorded it last year, December, during Akme Experience. So Akme Experience is actually like a yearly concert, which we started last year. So it's going to be like every single year in December, we are going to have Akme Experience.
Okay.
So we recorded it then during the concert. And by God's grace, we were able to work on some few songs. And we put it together as the annual album, which we
Okay.
released last month, 19th of June.
Wow. How many tracks?
15.
That's a lot.
And in our country here, where Perez was talking about contemporary and urban
Yeah.
music and all that, we hardly hear of choirs bringing out albums. Like
Yes.
when we talk about
Yes.
choirs, it's all about
Yeah.
church.
Yeah.
And even nowadays, the churches. But how's the journey been for
What
you?
is the churches?
I mean, okay, so I'm trying to say that even for the churches, it's not that most churches are accepting, like for the Pentecostal kind of churches, they don't really have choirs. They bring up artists, gospel
Okay.
musicians.
Okay.
It's now that other charismatic churches
Yeah.
are bringing, making the choir so beautiful with their guitars and all that, the kind
Yeah.
of songs they
Like
sing.
what Bethel does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you started from church, obviously, right?
Yeah.
When did that idea come up that, okay, let's bring up an album? It will be best if we sell our talent out there.
Okay, so we started from church and we are still in church. So we are actually a church choir.
Okay.
We belong to the Global Evangelical Church. It's a huge church.
Yeah.
We have branches, but we come from the Kotobawi branch. That's a Trinity Chapel. So the whole idea started. We have 3 albums. Okay. One in 2007, one in 2018, then the third one this year. So the whole idea started when, the normal church sets and normal church choir, like we call them praises and worship leaders. Yeah, that was how we started. Then, you go to school, you get the opportunity to have a feel of what other churches are doing, what other individuals are doing. You come back to your church and you feel like, okay, let me try and implement this. So this whole idea was carried by our music director, Mr. Henry Dachumo. So when he came back from school, he was like, oh, let's try and add a little touch to it because, we are kind of an Orthodox church and sometimes we do a lot of hymns and all that. So we wanted to bring a touch to it so that the youth, the guys from school, will also feel comfortable and not run away to other churches, which I don't want to mention names. So that was how the whole idea started. So in 2007, we decided that prior to that, we're going for concerts, go and see how people sing, learn from them. Sometimes he will harass us by force, whether you like it or not. Like, go and sit there. Some of us will be yawning and all that. But you come back, and when you come back, you need to put down notes because it's definitely going to ask you what you learned, what you think you can do to improve and all that. So this was basically the journey. And in 2007, we decided that, okay, let's have the studio feel. Let's also go to the studio and record something and see how it will sound. So that was how come it birthed the first album, which was Hallelujah. Then you realize that there wasn't a lot of videos, we weren't too much into videos and all that. Then 2018, we realized that in 2010, we started a monthly event at church, praise and worship, 2 hours straight up, like no interruption. Then out of this, we had a lot of our friends coming on board, Joe Metal, Ujezuta, Pastor Edwin, and all these people come on board. It grew us. We learned a lot of things from this stage that we created for ourselves. Then we're like, okay, now let's add a bit of video to what we did earlier in 2007. So that was how come we recorded the Akbar album in 2018. And that was actually what blew us up. The main idea of Akbar album was just to put out a bit of the Ewe songs in the system because we had a lot of other languages in the system, but we realized that we had a lot of Ewe songs that people didn't know. So we wanted to put out modernized, packaged Ewe songs in the system so that non-Ewes can also benefit from it. So that was what birthed the Akbe album. Then it's dragged us into the industry by force because
winning awards and all
winning
that.
awards. I think in 2019.
yeah,
You won the
2019.
Three Music.
Three Music.
You were nominated for 3 awards and you won all. Sharp.
Interesting.
Then we won the VGMA
VGMA.
Group of the Year.
Nice. Okay, so it's time for us to, go into the
discussion.
the discussion for today. And earlier, like Nanaya said, the discussion for today is about the gospel music industry. Is it a calling or a business? I mean, people have their diverse opinions about it. I know that Nanaya has her reservations about it. I do too. But then, my whole, thought process when it comes to the gospel music industry. In fact, when you look at men of God, there are some instances where some end up, it's like when you listen to some stories, it's like they started off doing other things and it wasn't going on well for them. And then before you realize they are pastors, so it's like, it sort of like creates the impression that, okay, so do people think that being a pastor, it comes with getting easy money or something? But when it comes to, let's come to Ghana gospel music industry. Let me start with Perez. I believe that Perez is not your actual name.
No.
Aha.
My real name is Frank.
Frank,
Right.
okay.
I prefer you call me Perez.
Yes, so Perez music. So what is your thoughts, or what would you say in relation to the Ghana gospel music industry? Do you believe, because like she said, like Anthea said about her, like she started off being in the world, and then although she was doing gospel music, singing in church and all, but then she ended up doing gospel music full time, and it was a calling.
It's always been a calling.
It's always been a calling. It was a calling. But then some also believe that, it's like there's money in the gospel music industry. So maybe if you're doing something that's not working, you just go into it. What are your thought process about this?
So first of all, for me, it starts off as a calling, but it survives as a business. That's for me. It starts off as a calling. And it survives as a business, not in like you're going in as a profit business. Profit, yes, you would make profit out of it, but then you need to be business-minded to survive as a gospel musician. You need to understand management. You understand? You need to understand how a business is run, because if you don't manage your talent or your gift as a business, you will not be able to sustain it. For instance, when you put money into whatever you are doing, it's two things. It's either you are putting your money to lose or you're putting your money to make back. And you need to put in money to make back, because when you make back the money, that's when you can do more. And when you're able to do more, that's when you can also help other people. I understand there might be other people who might have corrupted the whole business, the whole concept and everything. But you cannot run a successful career or a successful ministry, whoever you are, and not understand business. Miles Monroe once said that before you enter into ministry, go to business school.
Okay.
Yes, you need to understand business. You need to understand business in the sense that you need to know people management. You need to know how to work with people. You need to know how to understand people. You need to know how to get things done. You need to know, like, it's business. I mean, you cannot survive without understanding the business aspect out of it. But if you are talking about people going in with the mind that you want to cash
money.
out, that one is between them and their God. And
Do you share the same thoughts?
I think when it comes to the subject of gospel, there's a lot of hypocrisy around. People like to fake what is actually a reality. Let's look at a subject in the Bible. I know that some of you are not so, vast in the things of the Bible, but there was a group of people that Jesus gave, I think they were given talents by God, right? And when it was time to come back and show forth what they had
We're
done,
giving excuses.
the person that went and hid theirs basically was told that, get out from here, you wicked servant. And those that were able to multiply their talents, they were given that well done, good and faithful servant, enter into the kingdom. So I'm going to throw a question out there. those that were able to multiply their talents, do you think it was just based on just doing the gospel or doing the work that they were given? Or do you think that an aspect of business was applied to it?
Interesting question.
Very interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
But,
So definitely, by all means, like my brother said, it starts with the call. Everybody's given a purpose here on earth, and you have to do all you can to fulfill that purpose. Now, you cannot fulfill that purpose on a hula la, living in a bubble and just playing devil's advocate and behaving as if money is not an issue. Money is important, to push the gospel. Money is important to shoot a video. Money is important to go to the studio, But we're not saying that money is the core focus, because the Bible says that, seek ye the kingdom of God first and everything else would be added. So in seeking is where we answer to the call.
Okay,
But everything
Anthea.
that will be added is the money aspect.
Okay,
So I definitely
so
believe.
you're definitely going to continue what you're saying, but we need to take a quick break. We'll be back shortly. Go nowhere. So welcome back. This is Entertainment Review. Before we went on a quick break, we were talking about the gospel music industry. Is it a calling or a business? And Anthea and Perez have shared wild thoughts right here on Entertainment Review. So we are going to continue. Anaya, take us away.
Honestly, they are being honest,
Right.
and I appreciate that, because some people tend to make it as if the gospel musicians should just make it as a calling.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be a calling. I want the industry to be booming. I want investors to get into the gospel fraternity and say, we are going to have a gospel concert. Come and support. But if some musicians pretend that it's just a calling, who is suffering? It's the artist. So I really appreciate their
honesty.
honest
Yeah.
opinion. I know where you stand. But then I want to ask, can we describe gospel music as a show business?
No.
Okay, why?
Gospel music is supposed to be a ministration.
Okay.
Yes. So I have a challenge when you call me and tell me that you want us to come and perform. I might not tell you directly that I don't like the word perform, because I'm not a performer.
A performer, yeah.
I'm a minister.
Minister, yeah.
Every gospel musician is a minister, just like a reverend minister. Our calling is to do the music parts. Then the reverend is also to do maybe the teaching or the prophecy parts. Okay. So we come to minister. We don't do show business.
Okay.
Yes.
So a gospel music or gospel artist, or we can't describe gospel music as a show.
Show business.
No, it's
Okay.
not a show. It's
Okay.
a ministration.
It's a
Perez,
ministry.
Perez,
Perez wants to no. For me, I perfectly understand what my brother is saying, and definitely it's not show business, because show business is hinged on different principles.
Yes.
And what I like to call spirit business is also hinged on different principles. And what we do,
Okay.
and I like to call spirit business,
I've
is
never
hinged-
heard of the spirit
is
business.
hinged on different principles.
Okay.
But then again, this whole concept about performance and ministration, it is the performance that ministers. So me, when you call me and say I should come and perform, I don't really have a problem with it, because
Okay.
my performance will minister to you.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
My performance, I think it's about time we as people of God, we stop dealing in terms and trying to, we're always trying to define ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't need to define ourselves. We need to make what we do define us.
Yeah.
For instance, Bethel music like this, when you hear their music, it's so powerful.
Right.
You understand? So they will not struggle to define who they are to you. It is the work that is defined. So for instance, it is the performance that is ministering to you.
Okay.
I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, I
what
get
I mean.
it.
For me, that's my argument. Whether I'm performing, whether I'm ministering, whether I'm singing, whether I'm shouting, at the end of the day, it has to impact your life.
Because I was even coming there. Gospel artists' life to be addressed as coming to minister, not perform.
Yeah.
And let me take
And
Anthea.
forgive me. For instance, you are called to come on, let's say, not MTN stands in worship, or maybe they are doing an awards night.
Okay.
And they call you to come and perform.
Perform.
You have just 5 minutes or 3 minutes to, like what I did at the VGM. For me, it was a performance. It was an artistic impression from me. But then I believe that, like when I finished, the testimonies that came out of it was that it impacted and ministered
That's
to
the
people.
ministration part.
Yes,
That's
so it's the
where-
performance that ministered.
minister.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So whether you minister or whether you perform.
But I mean, don't you think that as gospel artists, I mean, some are doing their best to set themselves apart from the secular, musicians?
Okay, so this is my issue. We are not of the world, but we are called to the world.
Yeah.
I would rather prefer that my music is played in clubs
Okay.
and people are hit by the lyrics of my music.
Yeah.
And also there's an overflow in the church. Do you understand? I think we don't have to be comfortable in the church space.
Okay.
Our message is supposed to hit. Like the area I grew up in the Zongos, when I used to go to school, I walk from school to the house. When I'm coming from school, I hear my pastor, Mensa Otabels. I pass through the Zongos. I hear Muslims playing his messages. It's not one person, no.
Yeah.
You know, he used to do some 3 p.m. message.
Yeah.
You hear the Muslims, and that is what I
Living
believe
word
we are being
also.
called to.
But you see, the thing is, there's a lot of religious people in Ghana, more than spiritual people. I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person. So you may find me in, wouldn't say places, but maybe with certain people or something, and you may judge me wrongly thinking that I'm this or I'm that. But it's because I connect more in the spirit than religion. And in Ghana, I find that there's a lot of religion,
Yeah.
which is why adding a name to ministration is such a big deal. Performance. The moment you hear performance, people have an issue with the word performance. But
Meanwhile, there are things that we rather have to have issues with. That's not even part
but
of it.
performance is the art of
Yeah.
the singing.
Right.
So when you're singing, you're actually performing. However, I do have an issue with gospel musicians that walk around saying I'm an artist, or I have fans. My fans, no, nobody's your fan. I don't do fan.
Definitely. That's clear.
I have an issue with my fan, or because I'm an artist, they carry themselves like they're superstars and things like that.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you are a Christian doctor, what are you?
First, you have
Like, if you're a Christian
yeah.
doctor, what are you?
You're a doctor.
Yeah, doctor.
What do you call your people who come to your
Patient.
hospital?
Patients.
I think, you see, let's get some of these basics right. And
No,
let's
you
not-
see, the
I'm coming.
thing
Let's
is-
not box ourselves. You see, somebody will start being a fan. And out of being a fan, you can impact the person's life
Exactly.
and introduce the person to Christ.
Yes.
I don't have an issue with the fact that somebody may like what you're doing,
Yes.
or may be attracted to what you're doing, and so therefore they become, fond of you or fond of you. But I'm saying this based on experience. I mean, I've come into contact with people that walk around carrying themselves as if they are supposed
God's
to be
Yeah, for
sound,
that.
God's enough.
and then it's like they've got the whole thing wrong.
Wrong, yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'm an artist. And, these are my fans.
My
and,
fans.
So that's what I mean by I have an issue with such things. Somebody can admire you and admire your work. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's the approach and it's how you carry yourself.
Yeah, I think it
it's
has
very
to do
important.
more with the individual
Yeah.
than the concept.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it has to do more with the individual,
Yeah.
like the person, because
Yeah.
some people sometimes it gets into their head.
But we're talking about Ghana, and
Ghana.
are you going to sit here and tell me that you haven't met a lot of your colleagues walking around with that kind of air?
Oh,
People have fans. People.
They do.
no. You do know what she's saying. That there
Yeah.
are people who the whole euphoria of being an artist is more important to
Important
them
than
than the work of a minister
Yeah.
itself.
Welcome
So
to
if-
Ghana.
For that,
This is the reason
for that one
why.
there.
So this is the reason why I can understand when people have made the gospel become so cheap nowadays
Exactly.
because of how they are carrying themselves. Some people are carrying themselves, and so you will hear people saying, "Oh, all you gospel singers or all you pastors, we are tired of you. Oh, they are all the same. Oh, they are."
Yeah.
It's because this is where the business aspect can be tagged, and people can say, "Oh, they're doing it for business."
Yeah.
Rather than doing it for the purpose of calling.
Yeah.
I agree with you like 110% because see, the people who have to be speaking for the gospel are quiet. And into brackets, excuse my language, the charlatans who just have some surface knowledge and they are in for the business, they are the ones buying the airtime. They are the ones making the noise.
They are the
They are the
loudest,
ones
yeah.
owning TV stations
Yeah.
and representing the gospel out there wrongly. So what happens? Because they are representing the gospel out there wrongly, those of us who, in quote, we claim that we are doing the right thing.
I wouldn't
Right
say
now-
I'm doing the right thing. I hope I'm doing the right thing.
No, those people you
I
are
said we
calling.
claim. That's why I say
You
I
know,
put it in
those
quotes.
people you are naming, those who are supposed to be the frontiers are not.
Are
And
not.
those
And
who are,
those who are supposed to,
they have seen gospel as
As
a
a
business.
business.
Yes, not just a
Good,
calling.
as a calling. They are
But-
not in for
now
the
let's
calling.
talk about
though.
the fact
you
that
see, they have not seen it as a business. They've seen it as a money-making venture.
Right.
And it's business. Like,
how
I'm getting
about-
my money.
How about
Yes.
the way some of us feel that because it's gospel, we shouldn't spend money on it. There's an event,
Well.
and you see big stars, and the money that you're asking for is just
Work for
20
Yami.
CDs, 30
This one
CDs.
is
Like,
work for Nyam, Allah go pay you.
I mean,
No,
is it because
you
it's the work of God? You shouldn't charge. Is that a case?
For me, I'll say that we have come a long way. It didn't used to be like
No,
this.
it wasn't. First, it was
Almost every
bad.
gospel program, people were expecting it as free.
free.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you get
That's
it?
true.
Yeah.
But deliberately, people have taken up the charge. I won't sit here and lie about it. People have taken up the charge. I guess where you're coming from. Okay. But we have people who have deliberately, I know them, but I won't mention names, but they have deliberately taken this as their 24-hour service to always push out the right thing to be done.
Yeah.
Okay. So I still come back to this gospel calling and business thing. Okay. I believe, as my brother said, you sow into your ministry. Okay. We have a lot of gospel or sponsors who are in the church, but you're organizing a gospel event. I always say that gospel events or even gospel music is expensive than a secular music.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
Very
It's very expensive than a
expensive.
secular music.
To produce
But
one song is very
I'll
expensive.
go to a big man in my
Live
church
band
and tell him that I need this amount of sponsorship. He'll give me all the reasons that he has to give me, not to give me that sponsorship.
yeah.
But a secular person will go and will get that sponsorship.
Because with a secular person, he will get his money back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
The
Even if
demand
he
for
doesn't
those
get the money
songs,
back,
But
he will,
that is where
So
that
are
is
we
where we are
saying
trying.
that?
That is
So
where
are
we
we
are trying
saying
to
that
change.
investing money into gospel music, we do not get the returns?
Exactly.
That's
That's
how
things
where
are
the-
changing now. That is
community,
what-
that's
That's
how
how
it
it's
presented
working.
itself.
Exactly.
Yes.
But
No, we
it's
do get the
changing now.
returns.
It's
I mean, if
changing
you,
now.
I mean, we have to be honest. If you invest money and you have good product and you are, focused on it and everything, the money will come. Money is not an issue. It's not a problem.
It
And I
is.
don't
It
have.
is. The
money
Hold
is
on.
the-
No, what I'm trying to say is, getting money is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. After you've invested into it, I mean, God. How else would God bless you? So money will come, and when it comes, it's not a problem. You shouldn't feel guilty about the fact that
You're
you've
charging for an
gotten-
event.
you're charging for
Yeah.
an event and things like that. But of course, let there be measures. Nobody's saying go out there and be ridiculous and say, oh, the room I want to sleep in has to be all white, or I'm not coming, or something like that. But of course, we will charge. Because
Yeah.
we've invested time, we've done rehearsals, we've brought out CDs, we've done things. So definitely we'll charge. And I don't think there's anything wrong with charging back.
So my point is when we get to understand that I met quote, a big man, and one of them sponsors us, and he doesn't take a peso from us. Do you know why? He believes in sowing. They don't see it from the point where I'm giving you sponsorship, I'm expecting something in return. He believes in what God has called him to do. He sowed into his business. Now he is reaping. He needs to sow into someone else's business. Do you get it? That is where we need to change our thoughts, our narrative about getting sponsorship for gospel events. Maybe a secular artist, you might be able to reap your benefits at the event. But a gospel artist, you might not be able to reap your investment at the event. But if you put in the mindset that you are sowing into the person's life, every life that is touched, God has other ways of blessing you. Your business will be flourishing even in COVID. And you will not understand.
That's
so
very true.
Yeah.
we need to change our mindset
see-
towards sponsoring gospel events. It is not a
So it
money
comes
making.
back to my last question. Is it that you, gospel artists, prefer to be blessed or to be paid?
Wait, let me.
Both.
Beautiful question. Beautiful
Got
question.
a confusing
I just want to add up to what you're saying and add some clarity to it. You see, what you're saying is perfect. That is if you're dealing with an individual. I have my money, I have my company, one-man company, I want to sponsor you. You see what you're saying? You can't take it to MTN. Unless MTN wants to do maybe a corporate social responsibility and they want to do some concert and they are inviting you to come in. But if you are having a concert like that, you can't take it to MTN. You can't take it to a corporate institution where they have to answer to people.
Some of them.
Where's, like, let's say if I give you, if even I'm in an office and my office, I want to give you, my office has to answer to a bigger office. It's a corporate institution.
Yes.
And you're telling me that I should give you money, God will bless me. Some of them don't even believe in God.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Do you understand? So how do we get into these spaces? Those are the kind of conversations that
We are
we
supposed to
need to
have,
be having.
yeah.
Do you understand? Who and, like, that's the reason why I'm doing
Yeah.
the kind of concept
Yeah.
that I'm doing. Because I believe that we need to find a way to impact people outside too. When they see the number of people you are impacting, physical impact, definitely they'll come along.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Glorified,
Yeah.
a benefits concept.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So I grew up from the slum, like, you know, I was a kind boy. When I even grew up, Abosika wasn't so much of a slum, but it is now. Like, I mean, everything there is gone haywire. That's where I don't want to say anything. I don't want trouble. But like, I want to find a way to help people. I know where I came from. I know how hard it was, especially young boys. You see a lot of tramadol on the streets now. You see a lot of codeine, and these boys, they need. Some of them, we look at them, we see the way they are dressed, and we just judge them. But some of them just need some small counseling. Some of them just need to be able to connect it to some mentor who will help them learn some one or two skills that can better their life. You understand? So that is why I'm putting together this concept. One, to create awareness, and two, to also bring people who have resources and are interested in channeling it into things like this together, so that at least, you know, if even by the end of the year we are able to help like 50, 100 boys, and, you know, in the future they see and say, oh, Charlie, your ministry has blessed me, not just your music, but then you did this, and because of this, I've been able to get a job, and I'm taking care of a family and all that. So that's the dream, and that's the pep,
Yeah.
of course, of this.
Anthea, what about you? Any upcoming projects?
So
you're
at the
working on?
moment, I have a new single out. It's called Minyankopon, and it's on YouTube at the moment and all the digital platforms as well. So you can head over to YouTube and watch the video. And yeah, so basically Minyankopon was just a song that I heard, you know. So I woke up one morning and I was thinking about some few things that I was going through, you know, life issues and all of that. And as I began to think deep about it, I could hear the rhythm. And that's how I usually get the song. So as the rhythm came, the words started forming. And then Minyankopon came about. So it's not a song that I just sat down and wrote, but it's a song that really came out of a place of needing God and trusting God and saying that, yes, we are Minyankopon. So I do hope that whoever comes across this song is blessed, and that the song is able to meet them at the point of their need, you know, because everybody has a need. So
it's a single of an album or just...
it's a single at the moment.
Okay.
Yep.
Bethel. Kwa.
There's a concert coming.
There's a concert.
Yeah, it's actually our tour.
Okay.
The album tour. So we are actually doing a nationwide tour. We'll be in Ho this weekend. So we are starting from Ho. Then we'll do Kumasi, we'll do Hohoe, we'll do Kofredia, then Takrade. Then later in the year, we are organizing something with Joe Metal for Togo. Yes, then before the year ends, we'll have our major concert in Accra.
In Accra, yes.
Okay.
I was waiting for Accra.
All right, it's been a very insightful conversation today. Super, super conversational. Okay, take it.
So yes, so
They are not tickets, they are tokens.
They are
tokens.
tokens.
Yes, we are
Okay.
collecting tokens.
so this one
to
is
support.
Okay.
50 CDs. This one is 100 and then 80 CDs. Okay,
Okay.
that's a double token.
So it's happening at the Victory Bible Church, the headquarters, Reverend Takia Boys branch. Yeah, on the 28th of August.
August, yes.
So please, if you want to help us, if you like what we are saying, you like what we are doing, and you want to help us, or you want to support, or you're also in that kind of project and you also want to partner with us, you can call 05970997000, 05970997000, and we can take it up from there.
And the time is
Okay.
5.
5 p.m., yes. We have MOG on there.
Yeah.
We have Efe Grace. We have Akese Brimpong. And then we are bringing this amazing talent from Nigeria called Peter. So, sure you will love him.
Okay, all right.
But where
Thank you
can we
very
get
much.
them?
Okay, so the tickets, we have some. You can go to Virtual Sound Lab at Asylum Down. You can go to Dansoman, the Shell filling station, the place where the KFC is. And you can also call the number that I just gave.
Okay.
We are trying to get other places where if Metro TV can even vend for us, we'll be happy.
Social media handle.
Okay, so my social media handles on Instagram is Anthea Coker, one word. So that's ANTHEACOKER_music. And Facebook is Anthea Coker Music. Twitter is Anthea_music. And what's the other one? TikTok. TikTok is Anthea Coker. Yeah.
I mean, now if you're not on TikTok,
I know.
Then
I was waiting for you. Me on me TikTok.
Say for you, Perez. Your social media.
Okay, so my social media is Perez Music 233. PEREZ. Hey, PERE.
Yeah, Z.
For a minute, I zoned out. So it's PEREZMUSIK.
Right.
233.
Yes.
That's for all my socials.
Yes.
Facebook,
You as
Instagram.
well.
Bethel Revival Choir.
Okay.
Everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Everywhere.
Wow.
TikTok. You're not on TikTok, Perez?
I'll search for you on
I'm
TikTok.
there, but
Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us right here on Entertainment Review on Metro TV. It's been a great delight and honor having you wonderful guests be in the studio with us to share your thoughts, especially about the conversation of the gospel music industry being a calling, a business, and I hope that we have an extended...
We'll continue next time.
Exactly,
We will.
extended
We have to know if it's
conversation.
a blessing or a salary.
Oh, yes, the question that you asked. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We have to. Yes, we are definitely going to have
Yeah.
an extended, conversation on this particular topic. Thank you so much for being here with us. My name is Esiodua Akumia.
And I am Harriet Addy.
And I'm Nana Yatan. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, bye.